Hello and welcome to Silent Creativa. As soon as I stumbled upon the video from Dollightful, I just had to enter the collaboration. Okay, I wasn't so happy about the theme tropical because I'm more or less as heat resistant as a snowman. And because of that, I would never make a vacation in a tropical region. And because of this, I didn't have the slightest idea what to do. But yeah, I went with brainstorming, which led to such great ideas as palm trees and palm trees with a sunset as a background. Oh yeah, and pineapples and coconuts. And maybe some tropical flowers. And yeah, parrots? Parrots too. So I prepared myself to make a completely uninspired doll. After some first sketches, I thought, okay, let's go with a parrot. Parrot is great. What else? So Moana told me one thing. Polynesian tattoos are totally pretty. So Polynesian parrot. And one last thing, a tiki mask. So now we have a Polynesian tiki parrot. Great. So I apologize in advance. I don't mean to offend anyone. I decided to go with a male victim this time again, and he wasn't as flexible as I would like it, so I used a body that I bought on Wish some time ago. And then I made some sketches for his tattoos. And I will talk a little bit more about his tattoos while I am preparing his hat. But I already made the tattoos or draw them on him because I tried to make it on camera and that was a disaster. And so I decided to do this off camera. So I don't have the time to talk about everything now, what I want to explain. But the next step was, yeah, taking his hat and getting a little bit rid of his chin and of his hair, because I had the feeling his whole face only consists of a chin, so it had to go. But back to the tattoos. I did some research, and what I found out was that, if my source can be trusted, Polynesian males would have been tattooed on the right side of their body and females on the left side. So though he is a guy, I thought go with a left side for him too, because the risk to offend someone who has his origins in the Polynesian regions would be a little bit less big. And for the different patterns on the in the tattoo, I decided to go with some traditional things like the waves and the spears. But as far as I understand it, every tattoo of a Polynesian person is like, yeah, his history or the history of the tribe or something like that. And that was something I didn't want to dig in deep because, yeah, there is so much you can do wrong. And as I mentioned, I don't want to offend anyone by using some things out of their culture. And so it's just inspired by Polynesian things. Heavily inspired, but I would like to refer just to it as just be inspired by. I hope everything is okay. Everyone is okay with that. Gosh, that was different to explain that in English too. So I really hope everyone understands what I wanted to say. Though his head and his body had slightly different colors, I tried to match them a little bit more with chalk pastels, and you may already see that I didn't get rid of all the factory paint. That is because most of his head will be covered by a mask, so I thought this is not totally necessary. And that is why I just covered his jaw with chalk pastels too. Yeah, for his mask, I decided to go with some epoxy clay, and I had something in mind that is loosely inspired by a tiki mask, so it should be made of wood. And I wanted to use the parrot theme for that, so I made him a beak and just try to give it a look of being made of wood. Let's play a game of Roland can't find the English word online with strange translations. So the word loom means in German Webstuhl. And if you translate Webstuhl directly to English, you would get weave chair. So I guess something like this? Okay, this drawing is inspired by a spider, which brought me to the next thing. In German, you say a spider spins her net, like a spinning wheel. And in English, as far as I could figure it out, the spider weaves her net, like a loom. But wouldn't it be more accurate if you say the spider knots her net or glues it together? But let's go on with the main problem. There are different kind of looms. The first one is in German a Hochwebstuhl, which would translate to high weave chair. Then we have a Flachwebstuhl, which is a flat weaving chair, and you weave horizontal on it. How do you call a frame where you just weave on? I would like to know it. Just let me know in the comments, because Google calls it a loom too. And in German it's called a Webrahmen. Rahmen is frame. So makes perfect sense for me as a German. So this particular weaving frame, I made from a frame and some pins, and then just took out my raffia is the word, according to Google Translate again. In German, it's just called Bast. I absolutely love the transition between English and German. When I make my videos, I always feel so soft and calm after talking English for such a long while. And then there comes German words like Bast or Webstuhl. It all sounds quite hard, but that is nothing new. In the main part of this, I went with the simplest weaving pattern that you can use, and there you go, over one thread under the second, over one under the next, over one under the next, and this repeats all the time, and you just switch it with your next one, with the next row you make. I hope I explained this a little bit understandable. I don't try to explain what I did with a small portion of the weft, and just look, and maybe you can figure it out if you want to try this on your own. For a bit of decoration, I used some beads that are made of glass and they are cracked inside, and I thought it would look nice to have a little bit of decoration. And then I pinned it down where I want the hip area to be, and yeah, just watered it and dried it again so that it will get more in shape. And then I cut the rest in size. Finally, the mask was dry, so I could color this one. And yeah, the main part of it is black and dark brown, and then I went over it with some dry brushing in white and the darker brown to give it a little bit more shading. Though the video is already quite long, because I had to include some animations, I have to hurry a little bit because I don't want this to be over 20 minutes. We are nearly at 20 minutes, but I don't want it to be too much. So after the mask was dry, brushed, and totally dry, I took out some feathers and I had to cut them to size because obviously normal feathers would be too big. Glued them onto the mask, then brushed out yarn in green, blue, and yellow, straightened that yarn, and then I thought just using the colored yarn would be a little bit too, yeah, too heavy because the feathers already were there, and so I took out some alcohol-based markers and just colored the roots of the hair black too, and glued that onto. Obviously, the body had to have some feathers too, for decoration purposes. And then it was finally time to dress him up. And when I thought about the concept for him, I just remembered Moana and that every guy there wears something that is like these Japanese underwear, and I found out that this Japanese thing is called a fundoshi, I think, and I will pronounce it terribly wrong, but I found how to bind these things, and I thought would be quite accurate, I hope. So I just took out some ribbon and tried to get the same thing done. Off camera, I made a necklace for him by just braiding the bust and throw on some pearls here and there and glued a shell onto one of that. And yeah, then with another ribbon, I bound him into his skirt thing made out of bust. I love that. And yeah, just cut it the last bits to the right length, and then yeah, glued on some ribbons at the hands and at the ankles of his feet that I tied around them later. Then I made him a second necklace because his chest area looked a little bit too bare for my taste. And yeah, then he was more or less finished, but I thought he needs one more item to hold in his hands, or at least I made two different things, but I only show you how I made the spear because his torch that he will hold in one of the pictures later was just a wooden stick with some of this ribbon wrapped around it, and yeah, it totally burned down while I tried to get the shot I wanted to send to Dollightful. So, meh. With some polymer clay, I made the tip of the spear, and then just after baking it, sanded it a little bit down that it's a little bit more pointy, colored everything with brown acrylic paint and some silver one, and then I wrapped some stuff around this too. This time I used a hot glue gun because I was already quite late for sunset because I had a special photo in mind that I really wanted to take, and I needed to take this on sunset. So that was quite in a hurry, and here you already see the picture. And that is the one I sent to Delightful too. And yeah, then I took quite a lot of other pictures, and I hope you enjoy them. I had quite fun making them, especially the later ones. And yeah, I hope you like my take on the tropical theme from Delightful and had some fun watching this video. And yeah, if you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe, all the stuff you know, and yeah, have a nice time. And we will see us next time. Bye.